Hey, peace to the family, peace to the family. This is Ikemba of We Charge Colonialism, head researcher and writer. I'm here to do another study of the Blueprint for Black Power by Dr. Amos N. Wilson. Purpose of this study is to go through this book thoroughly, and just to have an examination of what Dr. Amos N. Wilson is saying, and hopefully to help inform, educate folks who want to put the blueprint into practice. So that's the ultimate objective. So we're going to do another reading. Like when I do these studies, I try to keep them short, go through a paragraph or two, and discuss it, and then come back. So I'm trying to do this daily, or at least every other day, to get through this book. It's about 900 pages. So if you are going to be a part of this study, I want to encourage you to go out and get the book. It's Dr. Amos N. Wilson's Blueprint for Black Power. You can see I put in work on this book. So the Blueprint for Black Power, a moral, political, economic imperative for the 21st century. And this book was written in the 20th century. Right now we're in the 21st century. So this is what we're supposed to be doing right now, to bring Black power into fruition. So I'm going to go to page 6. That's where I left off at. Page 6, the first paragraph. Read that and give my thoughts on it. So before I do that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, We Charge Colonialism, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you share. The goal, the objective, man, if we could have 1 million people doing this study, have this book in their home, and it's talking about implementing a blueprint for Black power, we can make changes overnight. So that's my objective, try to get as many Black African people to be involved in this study and to be ready to put in that work. So like I said, I'm on page 6. I'm going to start from the top and read the paragraph. The unimpeded intentionality of living systems, including especially human beings, is self-realization and self-actualization, the fulfillment of genetic potential or possibilities. This intentionality must be empowered to be realized. Thus, to paraphrase Friedrich Nietzsche, wherever we find the will to live, there we find the will to power. Power is essential to our existence and the most influential factor in determining our quality of life. As Warrenberg contends, power is one of the central phenomena of human social life. And as Parenti argues, all sorts of interpersonal, and we may add intergroup relationships, can be seen as involving power, including between lovers or between parent and child. Power, there is no escaping its presence in some form. There is no escaping its use by others to influence in some form our person, our minds, and behavior, and our own use of it to influence the persons, minds, and behavior of others. Right. So Dr. Wilson, he takes really a realist approach to life. And I studied political science in college, have my master's in political science, and I studied a lot of theory. And one of the theories was realism, and you have neorealism. And there's this belief that all choices or all relationships is motivated by the acquisition of power. So there's this power struggles that exist between individuals, that's the realists believe, and on a state level. The neo-realists believe that the states or the countries, they're vying for power. And so the decisions and choices that are being made is in the self-interest of each country. And they're making political decisions based off of that. So, that's what I'm hearing in this. But he makes a very valid point. There's some validity to the realist argument. But I think that it can be influenced. But it's important to understand as individuals and as African and Black people that we are in a struggle for power. The European power structure that has been created, those people who are working to maintain or sustain that power structure are working against our interests. They don't want to see us in power. But we have to understand, I think like that's what he's getting to in this particular paragraph, the importance of being aware of the power struggle that's taking place. And if we're not in the game, then, the game of attaining power, then we'll be in the state or the condition that we're in, right now. for a very long time. The other thing too is power isn't just, so of course he's getting to the point of and I talked about it before, attaining something, a goal or objective, or keeping something from happening, right? That's exercising power. When we get out of bed, getting up, the objective is to get up out of bed. You're exerting power doing that. Walking, you're exerting power. Now, but there's certain things that we need to do. It's not just a physical power, it's willpower as well. So we're talking about thought, the power of thought. If you're not strong enough to achieve a certain end or goal, you have to strengthen yourself. And to be able to do that, it's going to take willpower, because you may have to, just say if you want to lift something that's too heavy, um, or you're trying to, move something that's too heavy, and you have to strengthen yourself physically to be able to move those things. What would you have to do? You would have to work out, strengthen your physical body, but you have to have the mental fortitude. You have to have the willpower to get up every day, work out, or go to the gym and strengthen yourself physically to be able to do those things. So there's that connection with willpower, or the power of thought, and the power, your physical power to be able to do things. And it's the same thing as a group, like once the power of thought has been defeated, you're defeated physically as well. You won't be able to achieve anything, any objective in life, if you don't think that you can do it. And as a group, one thing that the power structure had tried to do in the 60s and in the 70s with our movements, the civil rights movement and the Black Power movement, is to break our will, is to break our belief and faith that we can achieve nationalism, that we can achieve liberation and sovereignty, that we can sever ties with the colonial power. That was broken in the 60s and the 70s. And not everybody was broken by it, but just the overall movement was undermined by the system through media and through the assassinations and murder of key leaders, such as Fred Hampton, such as Malcolm X, Dr. King, and the incarceration of many of our leaders as well. So that's the message for the day I wanted to get to you guys out of this paragraph. That's what really resonated with me, is making sure we understand the connection between the power of thought and physical power, and us living every day that we get up, every breathing, everything that we do is exerting power, but there's levels to power. And who are we, and who is that power benefiting as well, is something that we also have to be conscious of. Are we exerting power in our own interests? Or are we exerting power in the interests of other people to build other people up? Right. So, if we're in a situation where our power is being exerted or exercised to empower other people, then we must be conscious of that and find out ways where we can break that. We can transform that situation where now we're redirecting that power in our own interests, and that's as an individual, and that's as a group. All right. So, again, I'm Ikemba. We charge colonialism. Appreciate everybody that tuned in, or will be tuning in. And make sure you don't leave this podcast, this discussion, without subscribing to We Charge Colonialism and sharing this. And make sure you visit our website, wechargecolonialism.org. Check out some of our latest articles, or even our old articles, as we discuss a lot of these issues dealing with colonialism and what we need to do as African people. Again, until next time, I want to say peace. Appreciate you for joining us.